Folks, welcome back to AAA Farms. James here. Welcome back to the channel. We ain't got a whole lot to do today. It's been raining a lot lately. We actually had like a week of flooding. Kids got out of school and all that good stuff. So not a whole lot we can really do outside, but I did have an idea of something to do and try out. Don't know if it's going to pan out or not, but first thing we're going to do is let the chickens out. First thing they do every morning is, if you look right there, there's a bird feeder my wife put out. It's like the only tree in our yard. But I guess the birds come in and eat, and they drop stuff on the ground there. So the chickens, first thing they do is dart over there in the mornings. And then another thing we started doing, like all of our, I guess, wasted food scraps that, go bad, we throw in our garden area, which is this section right here. And basically let the chickens just graze through whatever they want, which they typically eat pretty much everything. And it's just a little way to get them to free range in our garden, and they'll scratch away and they'll eat whatever we leave in there, and then they'll poop in there and everything else. All right, let's get to it. All right, now that we got them out, let them free range today, and it's a pretty day. It's a little bit chilly, probably in the, probably in the 40s. I haven't really looked at the weather. It's cold enough I got a jacket on, I know that. So we got a problem in the cow pasture. Basically, we got 2 steers that we're getting ready to send to slaughter in probably about 3 to 4 months, something like that. And I need to be able to feed them constantly without the cows eating all the feed. So we started looking at creep feeders. I think these steers are too big for creep feeders at this point. But what I got to thinking, and I got to looking around YouTube, I don't know if you can see behind here, but I got 2 gates. Thinking I can wall off an area, and I got a 3rd feed trough back there that I'm not currently using. What I'm going to try to do is take these 2 gates back there, get a board or pipe or something to go through them. Basically make my own little area where only the steers can fit in. And then I'll put that feed trough, and I can at least feed them a 5-gallon bucket of feed a day, and let those, it's 2 steers, and then I also got 2 heifers that are going to be able to get in just because they're younger and smaller. But it's going to allow those 4 to get in there and eat without the cows eating everything. So the idea is trying to fatten the steers up before we send them slaughter in about 3 or 4 months. But next thing we need to do is go get the Kubota, and we need to carry us a hay bale back there too. So let's go get all that. issues about free ranging the chickens every now and then. And they like to lay eggs other places than where they're supposed to. Just thought that was kind of funny. Try to get these gates. There's some feed. Alright, we made it back to the cow pasture. So my idea is I have a extra feed trough right there. I'm going to drag it over here so we can figure out how wide we need to do it. But I'm thinking from T-post to T-post is 10 foot. So I'm thinking I can tie one gate to that T-post, another one to this T-post, come straight out towards us with the gates. So I got the extra T-post for, so that I can have more to tie to. I'm thinking about coming in at like a angle, so that I can put this 8-inch pole through the top and tie it in place. And basically, hopefully that keeps the bigger cows out. So I'm gonna go grab this post and go from there. As y'all can tell, these 4 up front are the steers and the 2 heifers. The 2 smaller ones are heifers, the 2 in the middle, and the 2 on the sides are the steers. So I'm gonna go get this feed trough and drag it over here. I changed some plan. I got a different idea that's probably gonna be better and easier to do. So this right here is how I catch my cows and load them up. What I'll do is I'll close this panel right here. I'm talking about this is how I normally load my cows into my cattle trailer. So this panel will be closed, and then that's the whole point. That feed trough's in there. Basically, I'll move the feed trough out in the center, feed my cows, and then when everybody gets in there, I'll close this panel. And so basically you end up with a, what's this, 32 foot wide and 16, 32, 48. It looks like 4th panel down there. So what, 48 plus 16 is 64. So 32 by 64. That should have been a lot easier too, is whatever. Anyway, it'd be 32 by 64. And then I'll close this, and then while they're eating, bring the cattle trailer in the gate back up here, and then we'll tie that up. Then we'll open this up and we'll get whatever cows we want in here, and then load it to the trailer from there. So what I'm thinking, I tie this close. In that situation, I put the feeder maybe over here, and then I can tell how nasty and muddy it is out here. Then I put a T-post to hold this one, and maybe something going across the top, maybe another T-post. And basically I'll let the cows, the calves, heifers and steers come in through here, and they'll have access to the food. I'll be able to pour the food over the fence. So every time I come out here to put hay out, I'll stop here with the tractor and I'll put feed in these 2 troughs for them. So when I do that, and they're looking light, a little bit lighter than I like. So I'm probably gonna start feeding every single day. Y'all can see the grass starting to green up. Oh, weather's weird. Last week it got down to the teens. This week's in the 60s midday, except for today it got a little bit cooler. I think we had a cold front come in last night. Maybe with all that rain that we had, because like I said, it was pretty much 5 days of straight rain, which is nice. Anyway, not important. But everything's starting to green up, even though it's January. I imagine we're gonna have another cold front, couple cold fronts come through. But yeah, I can tell it's getting a lot nicer out here. Anyway, start feeding every day. I'll throw feed out in these 2 troughs, and all the animals be able to get to it. But then I'll throw in additional feed right here that only the calves can get to. I like that idea a lot more. So let's close this panel up and then see what we got to do to rig this end here. So all I normally do to close this, I can tell it's seen its better days, but these are 16-foot cow panels. And I got this wire here for a reason. It holds this in, which like I said, this hinges back and forth, but it also doubles to tie this in place. Thorn bushes everywhere. All right, so we got it tied here. We got another tied down there. That should be good on this end. I might get some more to tie here, but I mean the cows are going to be pushing to get in, so it's going to be pushing against the T-post. They're not, you know, the calves might bump it this way, but the cows are the main thing you're trying to keep out, and they're going to be forcing this in here. Let's grab a T-post, see what we can do on this side. Okay. Think about this for a minute. I can maybe right there. Thinking right there. And going from here to there. Try it and see if it don't work out, and then we can always adjust it. These are here for basically when I back my trailer up, I can use those and tie this to the side of my cattle trailer. We're going to use it to tie this up now. put another T-post right here just to sturdy up a little bit. Yeah. Typically with cows, at least my cows, I can't speak for everybody else's, but mine, basically once I put that feed in there, they're going to come up and they're going to moo and moo and moo, but they're not actually going to try to like push this over and run this over to try to get the feed. Yeah. Maybe something like that. Alright, just walked up to my cow, and she's about belly high on me, which puts her right there. Might have to lower this down. So that might work. We'll go one up, throw a little bit of feed in here, and we'll just see if any of them get in there. Not gonna tie it in place yet. I didn't even think about putting that feed trough in before I close the gate. Alright. Don't know if that's going to pan out or not. I think it is. Let me tie it in place and we'll throw some feed in there. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put the hay bale out, but our steer, this is our oldest steer, followed by the other steer. This is a heifer, and then the white heifer is right there. So I'm gonna throw this hay bale out real quick, and we'll throw some feed out here, and we'll throw feed in there, and just see who goes in. Probably throw feed in here first, and see if only the steers and heifers can go in, or if everybody can get in there. Kind of go from there. That worked out a lot better than I thought it would. I was concerned about all the stuff on the front end loader. So what I've been doing is putting these hay bales in different spots every time I feed. So this hay ring came from right there. I can see all the hay everywhere. That's the other hay ring that still has some hay in it. But basically, I've been trying to move it. This is a mix of Bermuda and Bahia grass hay. So anywhere you put that, ideally there's a high potential that you're gonna have Bermuda or Bahia sprouting. So as you can see here, it's kind of sparse and the soil's not that great down here. The rest of that's doing pretty good. So I'm just trying to feed in a bunch of different spots. Y'all can see all the red clay that they dreaded up right here. I don't know how well that's coming up. But basically they're mixing in their manure with the red clay, because that's pretty much what all this is red clay. And the Bahia seed and the Bermuda grass into the ground here. So hopefully, eventually, when spring comes, all this comes up really thick Bahia or Bermuda. It'd be great. Y'all can see all the green. So those are all areas where I fed last year. Or really and truly last year I just fed in this spot here and this spot here. And I let that manure pile up so I can put that in my garden. But since I still have so much of that left, that eventually when it dries out, I need to bring a bunch of that and put it in my garden. This year I decided to move the hay rings around a lot to try to spread out that Bermuda and Bahia. Definitely going to finish out this field this year with the hay. This spring I'm wanting to fence this little 6-acre section in here, and if I get that done, then I'm probably going to feed all up in there next year just to spread all that around. I did plant Bahia grass in there last spring, but of course, as soon as I threw it all out, we had a drought come through, and none of it took, or at least from what I could tell. But it is Bahia, so maybe it'll take this year. All right, let's go feed the cows and see how our little rigging works out. I'm hoping it works out pretty good, because I need to fatten those steers up so I can get pretty good meat and steaks out of them this I think early. All right, let's see how this goes. Since my bull was able to get in there, he's shorter than my cows. I'm trying to get the bull out. So the bull being shorter than my cows, that one steer, he's actually bumping heads with him. I know y'all can't see him. It's slightly shorter, but a lot skinnier, which all the steers are skinnier. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this T-post out, bring it a little bit closer, and then also I'm thinking about putting the T-post one lower. Basically try to keep the bull out by making it where he can't fit his gut through. So let's go from there. Thankfully the ground's pretty soft, so it shouldn't be that hard to get out. So the bull should not be able to get in here other than if he forces his way in, which it's like a 1,600-pound animal. He's going to go where he wants to go, but he's normally doesn't normally push a whole lot. So got a little bit of feed left. I'm going to put it in there, see what happens, and go from there. Might end up having to build something, maybe like some drill pipe or something, to where he won't be able to push it in or do whatever he wants to do. Let's see what happens. I'll leave y'all back here for safety reasons for the camera. Go put this out and see what happens. Now we just wait and see how long it takes them to figure it out. So they gave up on it, for now anyway. I'm gonna head up to the house, do a couple things around it, and I'm gonna come back and see if anybody got in there to eat any of it. Go from there. All right, we made it back up to the house. Ultimately, if this pans out, what I'm gonna do is I brought this old mineral trough up here to fix. And I think what I'm going to do is basically make it into a creep feeder if this pans out, to where I'll get this fixed up. I'll get all the rotted boards replaced. I got a bunch of old tin that I can rewrap all this with, and basically I'll wall in the sides and the back with tin, and then on the front I can put well, nothing really, but then I can fill this thing up. So I can tell this thing's relatively big. I can probably put couple 100 pounds of feed in there. Not necessarily sure that's what I want to do. Just get, if it gets wet, it gets ruined. But I can put this where that plastic one is and be able to just put a whole bunch of feed in it and leave it be, so that the calves can go in there and get it anytime they want. But I think ultimately the best choice, because me and the wife talked about getting a creep feeder, and I like the idea of a creep feeder, but my concerns with it is my bigger steer, I'm not sure he will fit into the creep feeder, which kind of eliminates the purpose. So I think ultimately, and plus they're a cheap one's about $1,000 if you buy it new. If you buy used in your area, maybe you can find some used and you can get them cheaper. There's none used in my area. But ultimately, I think the best course of action is to finish fencing in this 6 acres right here, and I can separate my steers and those heifers into this 6 acres. And basically I could fix this thing up, or even get a creep feeder and just leave the gate up, and where I can constantly keep feed in there. Ultimately, I think a creep feeder is probably going to be a good option to get eventually for my younger calves, just in the future, as soon as they're born. Once they get old enough, they can start trying to eat that feed. Kind of go from there, but I think the best option is going to be to fence in this 6 acres and let those steers in there and feed them. Ultimate question is just, can I get that fenced in before it's time to send them to slaughter? As far as having time to work on it and stuff, not a big deal. I don't think it'd take too long, a couple of weekends to do, weather permission, or weather letting. Budgeting's the question, because it's pretty expensive to buy all that fencing material. But I'll holler at y'all in a little while and go in and cook me a little bit of lunch, and then we'll go check and see if anybody got in there to eat that feed and go from there. Hey, let's go see if they managed to figure it out. The T-post is still there, so at least the bull hasn't just completely ran it over. Still got some feed. And you can see where they were pacing back and forth trying to figure out how to get in there. Debating on moving it from this side to that side so it's closer to the hole. Maybe they'll figure it out better. Let's do that. See if they come in. Alright, got out of their way just to see if they go in and figure it out. Well, I about gave up. I had to run back to the house. Heard my youngest boy crying. Apparently the rooster got after him. And then I was about to do my little Xing video, I guess is what you'd call it. And I got to looking from way back yonder to over here, and one of the steers figured it out, the brown one with the white face. So I ran back here to kind of check it out real quick, get my head back in the shot. Let's see. He managed to figure it out, and he got in there. So since he knows how to get in there, I imagine the other ones will figure it out too. So I'll start throwing probably depending on weather, start throwing a 5-gallon bucket worth of feed in there every day, where only the steers and little heifers can get in there. But that way they can get fattened up. I think this one here is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 months or 18 months. And that other one, I think it's about 2 months older, the big white one. So I'll make about 22 months, I guess. Plans to try to fatten them up so I can get them slaughtered this summer. You got to get them slaughtered before 30 months, because basically something in their spine increases the chances or makes it to where they can get mad cow disease or something or another like that. So if you want T-bones, you gotta slaughter them before 30 months old. But that's awesome. Glad this worked out. Like I said, he figured it out, so the other two should figure, or the other three should hopefully figure it out as well. Missed that on video. The bull tried to go in because he is low enough to get underneath the T-post, but he walked in a little bit and his shoulders got hung up on the sides, so he let it be. Maybe that steer will go in right there. Be great if he did. And he figured it out too. So that's both steers in there. They both figured it out. 2 heifers are right there. I'm not as worried about them because the current game plan is probably to keep both of them. We're either going to keep them or send them to sale. We're not going to slaughter those two. The 2 steers will get slaughtered. Just kind of keep an eye on the bull. He is not happy, which none of them are happy. Anyway, the 2 heifers I ain't as worried about. If they eat, great. If they don't, that's fine too. The steers are the main ones I need to fatten up and try to get some weight on them pretty quick, because I would like to just have one slaughter date and bring both of them. But like I said, I got to do the white one sooner because he's older. But we'll just kind of monitor and see how this pans out. The 2 heifers, I might keep them and basically replace my bull. That way I can grow my cow size by 2, or herd by 2. But it really depends on, like I said, I plan on fencing this in pretty shortly. And it's 6 acres. Now, On top of that, from the pine trees back there all the way around to, if y'all look through the trees with no leaves, move my hand out the way, I can see the pine trees in the back. That's my property line on this side. So basically, from here to here, the corner's over there, and running it all the way back to be flush with the back end of this pasture. If I can get all that fenced in, that's going to be 30 acres added on, minus the wooded area, because this does have some woods in it. I think it's probably about 6 acres of woods. If I can get some more land fenced in to where I can justify growing my herd size, because right now they're on 20 acres, and with 11 of them is kind of pushing it, but that's about to go up to 26 acres for sure, because this 6 acres is getting done this year. And then I plan on starting the 30 acres as soon as I'm done. Plus I got some brush hogging to do. I need to finish brush hogging this field, that field, and the field with the box stand way in the back. And then probably would be good to go ahead and brush hog all this down too, just so that it's all mowed down. I'll get it fenced in, and probably about the time I get done fencing it all in, it'd be spring and all this stuff start greening up and growing up. I am pretty excited that they figured this out, and so far it seems to be working. Because like I said, we're looking at doing the creep feeder, a cheap creep feeder, which I think holds 300-ish pounds of feed. The body's plastic with metal, like a metal gate going around it. Now it's a heavy duty plastic, it's not just cheap plastic. But that's about $1,000, and I think that white one is too big to fit in there. The orange one or brown one with the white face might be too big as well. So if this pans out, it'd be awesome. Be $1,000 saved. At least till we can get this fenced in and let them in here. The idea would be to put the 2 steers and maybe the 2 heifers in here. I'll give them 6 acres to graze, plus hay, plus a protein bucket, plus constant feed source, or feed. And that would probably be the best thing for them. Anyhow, I am super excited about how that panned out. Like I said, it's I don't know why I didn't think about that sooner. But I was just messing around on YouTube, and I think I was just scrolling through short clips, and this popped up. I was like, man, no, what they did is they actually ran electric wire. They had a feeder, kind of like this one, a little bit different, but same concept. And then they had electric wire going out, making a square. And basically, that electric wire, if the bigger cows got too close, they touch it, it shocked them, but the little ones could walk right under it, no problem. If I could remember what channel that was on, I would say, but I don't remember. And like I said, it was just a short video. It was a great concept. I did have a solar shocker, or fence power shocker, whatever you want to call it, but it went bad, so it does not work. And then I got one that still works. It's really good with extension cord, but I don't know. It's like 400 feet from the house. I don't want to do that. But all right, this would get the job done. Super excited about it. It's about $1,000 saved probably. We could take that money and put it towards the fencing, to fence all this in, and we can move the cows in here, or those 4, and get them in here. But I'm gonna leave it be. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it be. Thank y'all for coming on the farm today. Hope y'all have a great day and great weekend, and talk to y'all next time.